Deviation. There's no progress without deviation. Hello, 안녕하세요. I'm Shadow Rage. Welcome to Cinemarea, where we only talk about South Korean movies and dramas. The Hymn of Death. Sae Chanmi. What an amazing title. I was actually planning to watch another series, but I had a little time in my schedule, so I thought I'd watch something short and sweet before that. And sweet it is. The show stars Jong-suk and Shin Hye-sun, who was pretty good in the movie Innocence. Hymn of Death is a true story about Kim Woo-jin, a poet and a playwright, and Yun Sim-deok, a young and very talented aspiring singer. The story starts in Tokyo in 1922. At that time, Japan was occupying Korea, and both of the main characters are studying there. They first meet because of a play Kim Woo-jin wrote, and their life pretty much changes forever. If you haven't seen the show, and if you feel like watching it after this, I strongly advise not to do any research beforehand. Watch the show, then do some reading. Although the show basically spoils itself with its first scene. I mean figuratively. But honestly, it's not the end that matters here. It's the journey. Hymn of Death is a romantic drama that grows way beyond this genre. It's reflective of its time, it's reflective of the then current culture and ways of doing things. Like I said in the intro, deviation. Deviation from the norm. Let's stop here for a minute. What do I mean by deviation? Frank Zappa once said that in order for progress to happen, you need some sort of deviation from the norm, and I completely agree. And I don't mean destructive deviation, it's just exploring new ideas, new ways of looking at things, living life in a different way. The reason I'm talking about this is because every great artist deviates from the norm in one way or another. And since the main characters are artists, they tend to look at life in a different way. Which would be fine, but they were living in a time and a place where traditions were really strong. Not to mention the constant tension because of the Japanese occupation. And the way they're looking at life conflicts with the way things are at that time. And it's really not easy for them. There are so many things breaking them apart constantly, it's ridiculous. It's also one of the reasons why the show almost never gets cheesy. Despite them being very fond of each other, there are about 1,000 reasons why they can't be with each other. And as the years go by, these reasons keep piling up, so this love is a great source of conflict from a storytelling standpoint. And speaking of the main characters, both Jong-suk and Shin Hye-sun was brilliant, especially Shin Hye-sun. I really liked her in Innocence too, but here she is just magnificent. But both of them were great, they were so elegant. And it's not just because of the way they dressed, it's the way they carry themselves, it's the way they express themselves. They have a sort of elegance that is unfortunately pretty much lost in today's world. Nowadays it's more just like, fuck you, asshole! What? I'm gonna fuck you up! But it's not just the performances, it's the writing also. It's a pretty short show, it's 6 30-minute episodes. It's basically a 3.5-hour movie. But each and every episode is so well defined, they really do feel like episodes. They are very well constructed. The pacing, although it's not fast, it's also not moderate. The whole show flows pretty much perfectly, it's constantly moving along, it never drags. I was amazed how much they were able to put into 3.5 hours. Sometimes certain shows can't tell as much as Hymn of Death does in just a few. And I say it again, it's not a fast-paced drama. It's just that it's to the point. Every scene matters. Very little filler to be found here. I'll get to that. The conversations are meaningful, the things that are happening are meaningful, and they propel the whole story forward. And then there's the characterization. Again, very well written and chosen scenes. It's incredible how fast we understand the characters here. The scenes are so simple, but the interaction between the characters make everything clear as day. And I love the first encounter between the singer and the poet. They basically hate each other at that point, but still they decide to work together on the play. Both of them have their reasons, but that's the beautiful thing. They basically have the same ideas, it's just that the way they approach it is completely different. Maybe that's why they click so well together. They're basically two sides of the same coin. If you've been watching my reviews for a while, you know that I'm not a huge fan of romantic stuff. Unless it's done right. Hymn of Death does it absolutely right. Again, these characters explain themselves so well, I can totally see these two people falling in love with each other. And again, this show is so much more than that. It's a story of two people who want to be free of all the chains society has put on them. And keeps putting on them. And if that wasn't enough, Hymn of Death is beautifully shot, it looks great. It's not flashy, it's just very stylish, the colors are great, everything is bright and lively. Certain shots are pretty much masterful. And to add to that, this show has the best soundtrack I've heard in forever. It has a huge variety of music, but everything was so appropriate. There was some great jazz music in here, for example, I did not expect that. But even the theme songs were great. They can be pretty annoying, but not here. I never listen to soundtracks, but I would listen to this. Each and every musical choice elevated the particular scene it was added to. It was such a joy to watch and listen. Great fucking show. I only have two small problems here. One is that the slow-mos or the more romantic shots were a bit too much for me sometimes. Sometimes they did work, Sometimes they were a tad bit cheesy. But I'm only talking about a few scenes here, so I'm really nitpicking here. And believe it or not, there was a scene that was a complete ripoff of Titanic. The camera work, the music, the place, everything. It lasted for about 2 seconds, but it threw me right off. After that, I was waiting for 10 minutes for DiCaprio to show up. Okay, I wasn't, but it was really weird. I'm not sure if it was intentional though. So, if you like romantic stuff, this one's a must. You must. But if you like good stories, human stories, decisions that will make you think, actually the ending would be a great source for conversation. If you just like a very well told story, go check this one out. I'm gonna give Hymn of Death 95%. I loved it. I loved it so much, I'm actually watching it again right now. It's great. 여러분, 오늘은 여기까지만 해요. 영상 봐주셔서 감사합니다. 이 영상 좋아하면 구독해주세요. See you very soon. 다음 시간에 만나요, 여러분. 안녕히 계세요. Bye!